Hi, I'm Mike Polito.
Hi, I'm Katie Polito, and
This is Call to Love Again. We're in part 2 of our series on purpose-driven dating. Here, today we're going to talk about how do you discern someone, right? Nobody's ever really told us, how do I go out and, it's one, to find somebody, but it's two, how do we discern that? What do we have some tools that we can discuss with and give to you guys that helps you with this? And so you can avoid the pitfalls of getting involved.
And being hurt and having to waste your time. I think it's very important. The last session we mentioned what purpose-driven dating was, and it's really geared towards the purpose of finding a spouse. And so discernment, right, is all those things you look for, and that's why we read you our roles of man and women in marriage. And so we have some things, definite things to look for. And the way we do it is we focus on a discernment of the virtues and vices, both in ourselves and in the people that we're keeping company with.
I think as you think about these, you want to, as you're having casual conversations and you're out on those initial dates, you ought to have not only, you do have your big red flags, but I think the ones that are really important are those ones that are under the surface. And I think these virtues and vices will help you uncover what could be a really big problem in the marriage, or in really discerning if that's really the person that God has brought you. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some of these virtues and vices. But
some of you may not be familiar with the virtues and vices that we've kind of begun with. They are from the Catechism of the Catholic Church, but also some other ones. And I always want to say, nobody has these all in perfection 100%. We're all a work in progress. So keep that in mind as you discern another person and as you evaluate yourself. The first three virtues that I want to go over today are the theological virtues of faith, hope, and charity. You may have heard these before. These three virtues are a gift given to us by God. So obviously, somebody who has faith and somebody who has hope and somebody who has love is, as part of their daily life, these are all going to aid in their ability to live a sacramental marriage.
So the absence of faith may be a one to discern. If they're not practicing their faith, that might be a red enough flag to say,
that person is not the spouse for me.
Right. If they don't lack hope, right? They may be a depressive person. They may have issues underlying that they need to get over with before they can enter into a sacramental marriage.
Right. And, doing things out of the love of God, charity is very important. It can ward against all kind of narcissism and doing things out of guilt and all of the wrong things that you don't want in a marriage. So these, if the person has these, they are signs of a relationship with God.
And you should move on.
Yeah. And
so what are some of the other things?
Life.
We've got some cardinal virtues, and those are prudence, justice, temperance, and fortitude.
That's
so
right.
Why don't we give a quick definition on this, Katie?
Okay, so prudence is really the ability to judge rightly and really know the good and do the good. This person is not going to be impulsive. They're going to respond instead of react. They're going to be thoughtful. They're going to have good reasoning and judgment.
Good with their money.
Right.
Good with the material possessions that God has provided them.
A good sense of, looking down the road and saying, this is going to be good, or this is not going, they're not rash, things like that. So they know the good and they do the good. They kind of put the two together.
Yeah. Justice. This one is, do they respect God and his people? And does he give justice to the poor and the common good, right? Or is he or she just all out for themselves? And so that could be a lack of justice. Mm-hmm. What else?
I think this really, justice is, are they willing to respect all people? Like when they walk into, you go on a date with somebody, are they very, demeaning to the waiter, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like somebody who's a server or a servant, somebody they think is less than them.
Or even driving, right? Sometimes people, lack of justice comes out in driving and they don't have...
Road rage.
How about fortitude?
Oh, I think fortitude is very important for me personally. Sometimes, the vices and virtues one can shine forth based on your personality. But I think fortitude has a lot to do with the constancy in difficulty, their grit, or they have perseverance in painful times, in difficult situations, in trials and tribulations. Are they still willing and able to do the good thing in the midst of those difficult situations? What is their ability to sacrifice?
Yeah, that's a good one. Especially in this day and age as life gets more difficult or as you get older.
I think it has a lot to do with commitment too. Their fortitude. If they have good fortitude, they can stick to something. They
Maybe if they job hop a lot.
That might
Maybe
be.
if they're just constantly looking for the next, thrill, that might be, or constantly looking outside of themselves and others.
Right.
thrill.
All the grass is greener complex, I think
Right.
would be a lack of fortitude.
I think the big one, though, I think most people can identify as this temperance. And this is the balancing of our appetites and our desires over food, sex, money, all those material pleasurable things. This, I think, is a really big one that we need to, we'll focus in on. Let's give a couple examples of a lack of temperance, right? Pornography would be a good one. So,
Huge. And yes, drinking too much.
absolutely.
Like overspending, somebody who really can't seem to save any money might be a big red flag.
So let's flip over to the vices, right? So we need to look for vices, right? There's going to be some present in
all of us.
Yes.
All of us, again, we're works in progress. Nobody's perfect. But there are vices that are overblown in some people and really have taken over their life, and they're unbalanced.
Let's talk about a couple of those that we've seen. We talked about pornography, so that would be a
lust.
A lust,
right?
And to get contrary to lust is a virtue, right? The virtue of chastity. So the ability to keep his hands off you, to really show that he's willing to wait for you and wait for God to consummate this marriage. So lust is a big deal. How about anger? We see that a lot too.
Yeah, anger is a good one. Anger as a vice is a good red flag for something that could go way wrong in a marriage. Anger that is out of control, rage, wrath. If they're explosive, if they're very, very, very impatient, to the point of it being problematic.
Unhealthy anger is what we're pointing to
Yeah.
there. And the virtue for that counters that is, do you see patience in that person? Do you see them long suffering? Do you see them be willing to do long, hard things and get past something and be patient with you? Because those things tend to come out a year or two into your marriage.
Right.
The other one I would say is sloth.
Sloth is a huge one, and it's not one that a lot of us are very familiar with. We think sloth is just laziness, but sloth is really a lack of an effort to love. So when we're talking about self-giving love, and we're talking about looking for those virtues that enable us to live a gift of self, a dying to self, a selfless love in marriage, sloth is a really, really big one. Are they willing to make an effort? Are they willing to be diligent in their relationship with God and with others and with you?
Yeah, that's a big one. Then I think the one we'll end on is pride and vanity. Now, pride is kind of the source of all our sin, right, of Adam and Eve, but it is really common in most of us. And what we want you to focus in on that with pride is really look for humility, right? If they have the ability to say, I'm sorry, right, which is the core of friendship and the core of a marriage, is being able to say, I'm sorry and repent. So we want to look for signs of humility. Right? It's okay to see a little bit of pride. That's in all of us.
All of us.
But humility is a big one.
Yeah. To know that we need others and need God.
So what we want you to take away from here is that this is really the only way, is to use the God-given virtues, to look for your vices, right? To look for the presence of their prudence, their ability to discern justice and fortitude and temperance. These all come together and are going to be really important, as the next thing we're going to start talking about is the stages of purpose-driven dating. And we're going to go real specific here what you can do in each of these stages. And so we hope you come back and join us from the next series of videos.